right. Thank you all for attending the meeting today. I'd like to call to order this regularly scheduled meeting of the 34th Dearborn City Council for October 8, 2024, scheduled at 7 p.m. Just remind everyone in attendance to please, everyone in attendance, that's better. Please silence your cell phones or communications devices not to disturb the meeting. At this time, Madam Clerk, can we have the roll?
Absolutely. Councilmember Enos.
Here.
Councilmember Hammoud.
Here.
Councilmember Abraham.
Here.
Councilmember Paris.
Here.
Councilmember Al-Sawafi.
Here.
Councilmember Herrick.
Yes, here.
Council President Sereni.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, at this time, I would like to turn the meeting over to Councilman Kamal Al-Sawafi.
Thank you, Council President. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Pastor Marvin Miles of International Gospel Center, who will give the invocation at tonight's meeting. Everyone who is able, please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Honorable Mayor, I'm humbled to be here, be a part of this awesome event tonight. Almighty God, I pray for the leadership of Dearborn, and I pray for the peace in our world, where there's often conflict and strife. I pray that you would bring an end to violence and injustice. Inspire leaders to work towards the well-being of all people and not just some people. May your love and compassion prevail, uniting nations in a common pursuit of peace. Let your kingdom of peace reign on earth as it is in heaven. Lord, make us instruments of peace where there's hatred, and let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon, please. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, bring light. Where there is sadness, please bring joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to understand as to understand, to be loved and to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And this we pray in God's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Pastor. We do appreciate your kind words. Madam Clerk, can we have the first item?
Absolutely. Item number 4, resolution by Council Members Al-Sawafi and Hammoud, acknowledging the city's payroll manager, Eileen Kelly Berry, for extensive effort during the migration to Paycom, the city's new payroll system, and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Eileen Kelly has dedicated countless hours and extensive effort to modernize the city's payroll system during the migration to Paycom, an initiative critical to improving efficiency and employee satisfaction. Her leadership has been instrumental in this transaction. Eileen's commitment to this project and her ability to navigate the complex challenges of migrating from green screen and DOS programs to apps, it's phenomenal. We do appreciate it. And Councilman Al-Sawafi had offered this to be brought forward with support of Councilman Hammoud to have the city the council recognize her and give her a citation, so we do appreciate it. Councilman, does anyone have any comment before we bring her forward?
Sure,
Councilman Al-Sawafi?
Thank you, Council President. First of all, for Eileen, I just want to thank you for your service. I know you put in a lot of hard hours, and your husband's here, and I want to thank him for his sacrifice, because I know you were away from home during that time, so I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, excellent. At this time, what we're going to do is have the council come down to the front, Jackie, and then we're going to have Eileen come up here. We're going to get you your citation. Yes. They know that. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to brief it. And we can't have people sitting on the floor either.
I only have the one, I'm sorry.
Those of you on the council have not completed your task. I get
So
Wait till you
Two more.
I'm hoping they'll have the new synthetic knees at that point. What are you passing out?
All right. Before we move on, just a couple housekeeping things. If anyone has a seat next to you, please make sure you make some room. Sir? Yeah, for him. We don't allow anybody on the floor, sir. Yeah, if you don't mind, there's plenty of seats. If there isn't, there is overflow areas, but we just don't have people sitting on the floors. So hopefully there's enough room for you, and we'll get to it. Just a reminder to everyone here, the council rules are on the back of this card. So there's no allowed of any photos, props, flags, any paraphernalia whatsoever. They're not allowed in the chambers, so we have to have them removed. So we do hope that you could take care of that yourself. If you have anything that's yours, that you have, any photo signs, please remove them to the outside of the building, okay? Before we go on to the public comment portion, which is 30 minutes, I want everybody to understand too, the comment, public comment is created under this council's jurisdiction, newly this council, that we allow 30 minutes before our meeting, so you don't have to wait for the whole meeting to have your voice heard. So something new, but it's only 30 minutes in the beginning, and then it's unlimited at the end, so if you have things you want to speak at the end, you're more than welcome. You're allowed 3 minutes to address the council, and each person. And just keep in mind that if you have an item that is on the agenda, that we will ask you to wait until that item is up, so your voice will be heard before the council makes a ruling on it, okay? At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion by Councilman El Sawafi and supported by Councilman Hammoud to suspend the rules of orders so that we can bring forward our sympathy resolutions. Is there any objection to unanimous roll? Hearing none, unanimous roll shall be attached. Madam Clerk, can we have the first sympathy resolution?
Yes. Resolution by Councilmember Al Sawafi, supported unanimously, offering condolences to the family of Kayun El Tamimi and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Council President. The late Kayun El Tamimi was born on July 1st, 1950, and sadly passed away on September 29th, 2024, at the age of 74. It is with deep sorrow that we remember Kayun, whose life was tragically cut short in a fatal car accident. His sudden passing has left a deep void in the hearts of his family, friends, and the Dearborn community he cherished so dearly. Words feel inadequate as we try to process the grief and shock of such an unexpected and heartbreaking loss. Kayun leaves behind a devoted wife, 3 loving children, and many relatives and friends. Born in Iraq, Kayun embodied the spirit of generosity, love, and compassion throughout his life, touching the lives of so many, not just as a father to his 4 beloved children, but as a father to figure countless Iraqi immigrants who found refuge in his kindness and open arms. As his eldest son so sadly expressed, "My father was not just a father to us, but a father to all. His home was more than just a house. It was a sanctuary for anyone in need, a place of warmth and hospitality where no one was a stranger. Mr. Khayoun offered more than a roof and a meal. He offered hope, guidance, and a sense of belonging to those far from their homeland. His wisdom and his compassion bridged the gap for Iraqi immigrants seeking a new life in the U.S., and his presence was a beacon of support for so many adjusting in life in this new country. His care and generosity was not confined to those who lived near him. His heart also remained with the family and friends he left behind in Iraq. He tirelessly supported them from afar, making sure they knew they were never forgotten. Whether through financial assistance or emotional support, Khayoun worked to lift others up, never asking for recognition or praise. His legacy is one of love, service, and boundless generosity. In a world that's so often divided, Khayoun was a unifying force, bringing people together and making them feel seen and valued. He will be remembered not only for his immense love he gave to his wife, children, and grandchildren, but for the countless lives he touched, for the immigrant families he welcomed, and for the community he helped build here in Dearborn. Though his presence will be deeply missed, his spirit will continue to live through the countless acts of kindness he inspired. His memory is a blessing, and his life is a testament to the power of welcoming, giving, and never forgetting where you came from or those who still need you. Our thoughts and prayers are with Khayoun's family as they go through this unimaginable loss. May his soul rest in eternal peace. We offer to all our most heartfelt sympathy and sincere condolences. Allah yarhamah.
Allah yarhamah. Thank you, Councilman Al-Sawafi, and the unanimous roll shall be attached.
Council President, just a quick remarks.
Yes, Mayor.
First and foremost, inshallah b'tislam, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you patience. I did not know your father, but I certainly grew up with one of his sons. And if there's a testament to who you are as a parent, as a father, the standing of your children will be what you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a testament to. And so Kamal was kind enough to share the stories of your father, so I know this is an immense loss, not only for the Iraqi community, but for the broader Dearborn community in whole. And whatever you need from us as family, please lean on us in this difficult time, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us amongst one another. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, if there is someone in the audience that would like to speak on this death, please just step forward and just your name for the record.
My name is Mortaj Al-Tamimi, for the record, and thank you, council members. Abdullah, always a pleasure to see you. I basically grew up with Abdullah from elementary. Just a few words I wanted to share about who my father, Khayoun Al-Tamimi, was. That answer is both simple and, of course, profound. When I reflect on my father, one word consistently emerges, and it's pure. Khayoun Al-Tamimi embodied purity in every facet of his life. When he committed to a task, be it personal or for someone else, he devoted his entire heart and his soul, never cutting corners. His motivations were selfless, never pondering on what he might gain from others by aiding others. His love was boundless, ensuring everyone around him felt it deeply. My siblings and I were fortunate to be raised by a man whose affection knew no limits. To him, the essence of life lay in the small, meaningful acts of kindness. I often questioned him, why exhaust yourself to help others? His response was always unwavering. We are a part of a community, and just as we rely on it, it relies on us. Now I grasp the essence of his words. The community's gathering during his passing highlighted the unity and undeniable impact he left behind us. This is who Khayoun Al-Tamimi was, a man who lived for others, whose legacy continues to inspire. I just want to take this last moments to thank the entire community and individuals outside of our community for paying their respects to my late father. Thank you once again, and the Altamimi family greatly, greatly appreciates everybody in this community and outside that shared their love. And thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on Mr. Altamimi?
I'd like to say
Oh, yeah, of course.
I don't have anything. I didn't prepare. My brother prepared beautiful words. Al-Sawafi
Just your
said,
name.
Ali Al-Tamimi, I'm Khayyun Al-Tamimi's oldest son. What Al-Sawafi said was amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And what my brother said, you know, it really highlights what my father was. What he left behind is a book that he worked on for about 2 years. He actually lost everything in this book that was on his computer. And when I talked to him literally last month, he said, when I lost everything in this book, it was almost like losing his oldest son, my older brother. What I can say is this book is available. All the profits are going to charity. You can get this book.
I apologize. Sir, can you, yeah, do you need help shutting it off? Because
No worries.
Yeah, please.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
go ahead, continue. I apologize.
So yeah, this book is available. All the profits are going to charity. If anybody wants a copy, please reach out to either me or my brother or any of the Altamimi families. We'll be glad to help you get this book. Thank you so much. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you very much.
Mayor Abdullah.
You're saying give it? Yes, I'd like to gift it to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'll write, well, I wasn't prepared, but I'll get
We'll
it
put
ready
it.
for you.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Sharaf no Allah yarhamu. I can just tell you, unfortunately, I did not have the opportunity to know your father. I can tell you that losing a father or a mother, no matter how expected or unexpected, is very tragic. No matter what age you are, what time you are in your life, it does change who you are and who you will always be. As your brother eloquently spoke, the things that your father said makes much more sense today, but that's normal. And inshallah, you will come to know that he's in a much better place, alhamdulillah, than where we're at today. So, again, our condolences to you and your family. And thank you very much for it. Okay, if there's no one else here to speak regarding Ms. Altamimi? Okay, then unanimous roll shall be attached, and the next condolences.
Resolution by Council President Pro Tem Herrick, supported unanimously, offering condolences to the family of Todd Roberts and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you. Councilwoman Herrick?
Thank you. Todd A. Roberts was born February 14, 1969, and sadly passed away on September 10, 2024, at the age of 55. Todd was the beloved son of the late Charles and Shirley, and brother-in-law to Connie and her husband, Russ Olivero, Chuck and his wife, Terry Roberts, who both work at the city of Dearborn, Mike and his wife, Wendy, Paula Gillette, Lori and the late Chris Owen, and the late Pam and husband, Ron Alstead. Todd was a loving uncle to 13 nieces and nephews and 19 great nieces and great nephews. We are deeply saddened by the loss of Todd, a dedicated professional in the wine retail industry and a compassionate advocate for animal welfare. Throughout his illustrious career, he held several managerial positions at various food and wine establishments right here in Dearborn. His most recent positions included manager of Merchants Fine Wine in Dearborn, and after Merchants closed in mid-2020, he pursued the same career path and held a position in the wine department and as manager at Westbourne Market, also here in Dearborn. With every position he held, he always displayed a love of his work, which was evident to all who knew him. His expertise and dedication made him a lasting impression on both colleagues and customers alike. And I personally know that a lot of people went to Todd for advice when it came to purchasing spirits and wine as gifts or for special events in their own families. Beyond his professional achievements, Todd was a devoted caretaker of his beloved fur babies, Barney Miller and Jake, who both preceded him in death. He was a steadfast supporter of the Friends for Animals of Metro Detroit, where he had many friends. His generosity and kindness towards animals reflected the warmth and compassion Todd extended to everyone he encountered. He leaves behind a legacy of allegiance, kindness, and love that will be deeply missed by all who had the privilege of knowing him. To all, we offer our most sincere sympathy and sincere condolences.
Thank you, Councilwoman Herrick. Thank you. And a unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Resolution by Council President Sereni, supported unanimously, offering condolences to the family of Haj Kamel Jawad and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. It's with profound sadness that we acknowledge the tragic passing of Haj Kamel Jawad on October 1st, 2024, at the young age of 56 years old, while heroically saving lives in his beloved hometown of Nabatiyya, Lebanon, in the ongoing war that is taking place currently. Haj Kamal leaves behind his devoted wife, Zainab Beydoun, his cherished children, Nadine, Zahra, Ahmed, and Ali, and his beloved grandson, Kamal Ahmed Jawad. Haj Kamal was a beacon of kindness, generosity, and strength, a pillar of both the Dearborn and Nabatiyya communities. He was known for his deep commitment to uplifting those around him. His work as a businessman was matched by his relentless dedication to serve others, both here and in Lebanon, where his heart never strayed far from his roots. In his final days, Haj Kamal demonstrated the selflessness that defined his life. Staying near the hospital in Nabatiyya, he cared for his elderly mother and offered aid to the most vulnerable people at that time, those that were disabled, injured, or unable to afford the means to leave the country. Quietly, he provided food, mattresses, clothing, comforts to those in need, while also paying off their debts anonymously, expecting nothing in return. He remained deeply grateful for his immense impact. We remain deeply impacted by his grateful and immense impact that he had on those that knew him and his legacy he leaves behind. Haj Kamal was admired and loved by all those who had the privilege of knowing him, and his loss leaves our community with a very large void. Our hearts are heavy and with grief, and our thoughts and prayers will go out to his family and friends in the time of mourning. We offer our most heartfelt sympathies and condolences to his family. Haj Kamal's memory will live on in the hearts of all that he touched, and he will be dearly missed. And the unanimous roll shall be attached.
Council President?
Oh, Mayor? Yes.
Yeah. Simply put, Haj Kamel al-Marhoum is a hero. This is an individual who passed away in the manner in which he prayed to pass away each and every single day in giving and sacrificing all that he had. And anybody that knows his family knows the accomplishments of his children. They are some of the biggest pride points that we have in the city, some of the most accomplished young people that we have ever come across. Again, speaking to the legacy that's left behind by some of these fathers and parents that have departed far too early. And so to his family, I grant them patience, and I know they're respecting their privacy in this time. I won't take too much, but I just want to extend our condolences. Inshallah taslamo, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you patience again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And the unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item number 5, public comment.
Okay, so we will now begin our public comment portion. Those of you that may not have a seat, there is a room open directly behind us that has, outside in the hallway, I'm sorry, behind this room, there is seats and a television monitor. You will be called. We will give you time to come up. We have these cards, so if you've not filled out a card, they're available on either side. And just keep in mind, if you're speaking on an item that is on the agenda, we will hold that until that item comes up, okay? Yep. Thank you, guys. Okay. So first, public comment with the time 7:31, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Okay, we'll just keep the time right at that. First, we have Miss Maria Forgassi. Maria? Yeah.
people.
I'm sorry to follow on so much grief and loss this evening. My name is Maria Fogarassi, 22203 Long Boulevard, and I'm here to ask everyone to acknowledge the 5-year efforts of Preservation Dearborn to get the Historic District Ordinance updated. 5 years is a long time. I have been told over and over again that this would come up against personal rights, and we just haven't seemed to get been able to get the message across properly that the ordinance in and of itself is harmless. It's a piece of paper in a drawer, or now it's an item online, and it only provides a path forward for historic designation. It doesn't change anything. And even after all the efforts to get historic designation for a district, a property, a street, anything, City Council always has the final say, yes or no. So you're probably going to think, why am I even up here if you have the final say? And I just want to make the point that I have learned from Detroit that a historic district can be a single building. It can be commercial or residential. We do have some beautiful buildings in this city that people really feel very strongly about. I would hope that when we gave you our stories from the sidewalk book, that maybe you looked through it and you found 1 or 2 houses or buildings that you yourself would hate to see disappear. So we have to think about this in the broader context. We can also get certified local government status if we have a historic district ordinance update. We also need a historic commission, but that opens up the partnership with the National Park Service and the State Historic Preservation Office for potential grants. Betty Adams will join me in asking for this, as well as the Historical Commission. Betty has the Esper branch, the Bryant branch that are older than 50 years, and now she's got the Historical Museum, Ross McFadden House in the Commandant's Quarters. So there are a lot of things you can do with this ordinance, and updating it doesn't change anything. It's just going forward. We have asked so many times, you have granted us study sessions we have never been able to get. Well, it was tabled, I know, a couple of years ago in January, but we had never seemed to get past the point of getting it on the agenda for a vote. So this is my plea to you this evening, and also just to remember my words. We have a lot of people in this city, all different ages, from all different everywhere, who love some of our buildings. And please don't—
30-second warning.
Pardon me?
30-second warning.
Yeah, okay. So don't forget my words, don't walk out of here. And I happened to land on your city calendar for the month of November with my supervisor, one of the best in Dearborn, Cunningham. And I hope that every day, if you've got that in your kitchen or your council office, you're looking at it in November and you're remembering my words. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you
Vargas.
for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Aya Sharaf. Okay, just want to make sure I pronounce it. If you could state it properly, I apologize. Sadafi? Sorry about that. Go ahead, just your name and then your name and address for the record.
Okay. My name is Aya Sadafi. I'm not a Dearborn resident, but I do sit on the board of a nonprofit that operates here in Dearborn, as well as a grassroots organization, USPCN, which is a U.S. Palestinian Community Network. I come to you not as a resident of Dearborn, but as someone who intentionally goes out of their way to support Dearborn businesses. I come to you not as a resident, but as someone who values supporting our Arab community, which is 55% of this city. I come to you not as a resident of Dearborn, but as someone who values our people and their success in this country. And I come to you as someone who is deeply invested in their wellness, both here and in their homeland. I have grown a deep love and appreciation for my community here. When I look at the mothers in the shopping store, I think of my own mother, and I think of the mothers in Gaza. When I see the children running through their neighborhoods freely, riding their bicycles, I think of my own nieces and nephews, and I think of the children in Gaza. When I see the fathers in the mosques, I see my own father, and I think of the fathers in Gaza. All the people that I see here in Dearborn are a reflection of myself, my family, and the people that I see in Gaza. It's not a deep connection to the city, but it's to the people who live in this city. The University of Edinburgh's Global Public Health Chair, Devi Srindar, estimated last month that the death toll could be as high as 335,000 people in Gaza and in Palestine. This number, which continues to rise, did not happen in a vacuum. This wasn't a decision suddenly one day that it was okay for people in Palestine, Lebanon, Yemen, Syria, Iran, Iraq to be murdered just like it's nothing. This is decades of dehumanization that has contributed to this very moment. A genocide. We have even dehumanized ourselves so much that we justify our contribution to this genocide. We defend the very systems that have allowed this to escalate. My question still stands for the government of Dearborn. How do we expect this senseless murder to stop when we can't stop contributing to it? How do we expect the media to stop demonizing us when we're feeding the same system that's encouraging them to do so? We are calling on the city to adopt a robust resolution that without a doubt encompasses the love our community has for each other and for humanity. We must not normalize hatred and racism against our people or our communities here in Dearborn.
30-second warning.
We cannot create a healthy society and a healthy future if we're not willing to challenge the corporations that value money over human life. Eventually, everybody's body will only be viewed by how much they're worth. Last week, the City Council voted on divestment clause in a special meeting under the Post-Employment Health Care Fund, which indicated to no one that divestment would be addressed in the agenda. I'd like to share with the council that we don't want to hide anymore. We want to approach divestment proudly and loudly. We want the world to know that we stand for life and that we stand for justice and that we stand for humanity, even when there are legal risks associated with it. It shouldn't be illegal to challenge genocide. Support us in moving forward with this. Mayor Hamoud, in the Stand for Lebanon rally, the whole community came to your defense when they, at the simple thought that my statement might have attacked you. I promise you that if you challenge these systems that have normalized our death and racism of our people against our people, if you can challenge that system, we will all stand with you and we will all rally with you to stand against these corporations that are contributing to our death.
I apologize. You're not. If you want your voice to be heard, you're a very professional woman. You have to respect everybody's time. So
Thank you for your time. Please adopt a robust divestment resolution.
Thank you very much. Okay. It's, I believe, Jinan Yassin, or is it? Yes. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Janine Yassin. I don't want to give my exact address for privacy reasons, but I live between Palmer Street and Hubbard Drive. My
or you could say the city is
416.
fine. That's fine.
East Dearborn.
Yep. Excellent.
Okay, so my name is Janine Yassin. I'm a Palestinian artist that lives in Dearborn. I'm part of the U.S. Palestinian Community Network, a multi-generational Arab organization dedicated to the liberation of Palestine, which has been behind the Dearborn Divest campaign. USPCN has organized in Dearborn before I was even born. Led by Nakba survivors Ismail Noor, who attended the special council meeting last week, and Nakba survivor George Khouri, Allah yarhamo, who passed away October 6th of last year. He was one of the co-founders of Access and an integral part of Arab grassroots organizing history here in Dearborn. I stand here in front of you all today carrying so much rage and grief and love for the Palestinian people and all my Arab siblings. This past year has been very excruciating beyond words. The escalated genocide has consumed every aspect of my life, my career, my relationships, my day-to-day. I'd be lying to say I even had been alive this past year. And to see these horrific crimes be expanded to my Lebanese siblings is sickening to say the least. I stand in front of my representatives, majority of whom I voted for, to work alongside the community in passing a comprehensive divestment resolution. I was really disappointed when I found out last week that City Council had passed a one-clause resolution without public knowledge and input. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little taken back when I heard that the city had worked on divestment for a year, only for the clause to be pulled directly from the American Friends Service Committee's website, word for word. Surely, as Dearborn, we should be leading with a powerful resolution so adjacent cities within Michigan can use our language as a blueprint for divestment. So these are our campaign demands. 1, we want a full divestment of stocks and bonds affiliated with the genocide and apartheid. 2, we want the city to implement a permanent policy for present and future investment managers to never invest in genocide and apartheid ever again. We also want divestment to extend in city contracting, for example, no more cola products in city buildings. We want the city to do its due diligence in protecting its Arab residents. We don't only feel the genocide from back home, but we experience the impact here in the U.S. We know in order to justify such heinous crimes back home, we as Arab are criminalized and seen as people who are naturally and inherently violent that need to be watched and punished before we can go into what they deem to be our natural instincts. We saw similar criminalizations during 9/11 where thousands of us were incarcerated and deported without evidence. Our parents and elders still traumatized from that. We saw that when America was justifying the millions of lives they killed in Iraq, weaponizing secret evidence and entrapments onto our community. And we saw that this morning as a Dearborn native Jets coach was fired for just wearing a Lebanese patch during a game. I am seeing my Palestinian colleagues be arrested, watched, surveilled, and charged by police across the state and the country. And I had already seen the unimaginable here in Dearborn. I ask you all today, in what world is it normal to have a group of Homeland Security behind a Lebanese rally watching us and surveilling us? In what world is it normal to halt community members from calling out our oppressor in rage? In what world is it normal to have cameras streamed at Fortson to our Arab youth, to the police department, and using, as one council member said, 9/11 as an excuse? I am terrified to see Islamophobic tropes be weaponized here already before the genocide even started. If you want to see an end to hate crimes towards Arab, we need to stop allowing systems and programs in our city that fuel and manufacture consent for these hate crimes, not to integrate more police into our communities. I'm finished now, Shukran.
I'm trying to give you this floor. Folks, we want to give everybody the time to be heard. So please respect the time. It's not fair to others, and it makes this much more difficult than it is. And I'm going to have the mayor give some breakdown because a lot of the information that has been floating around is inaccurate. First of all, the government in the city of Dearborn does nothing behind doors or without public input. We've had that conversation before. The public elects us. We made immediate actions on things, and we had a public meeting. For the record, the council controls 1/4 of $700 million of investing. $700 million, 1/4. The rest is controlled by pension boards, which have been meeting, which we have a representative on as well. So no one is doing anything behind the back or doing anything that's not publicly facing. But I cannot have people going over and over on time and others respecting the time. It's not fair. So please try to keep your comments as close to you can. I let you finish your thought, but we're all here for the same reason. Mayor, did you like to, and by the way too, before the mayor says, we have taken media calls from Newsweek, Wall Street Journal, all over. So no one is hiding or saying that we're trying to not disclose what we're doing. Everything is public facing. Mayor?
I figured I'd speak probably after all the comments, so I can take notes.
After?
Yeah, I'm taking notes of some of the things being noted. That way I can address all of it.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so again, just please keep a reminder of your 3-minute limitation. I always let the person finish their thought, but just keep remind there's many people that are not going to be able to be heard because you're taking more time. So we have Ali Shamsuddin. Yes, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ali Shamsuddin. I'm a part of USPCN, the U.S. Palestinian Community Network.
We can't hear back here. Yeah, turn the sound up.
Yeah, we don't have the ability to turn the sound up. Sir, if you can, Ali, if you can just try to raise your voice slightly.
USPCN is on? I don't know.
There's no light in front of you?
It's on.
It's on? Okay.
Light screen. Okay, so I'm a resident of Dearborn Heights from South Lebanon, and I have family in Dearborn. It's important to describe what an apartheid-free zone is, which is an area that adopts general ethical procurement policies which prevent contracts or cooperation with or investments in entities that are complicit in gross human rights violations anywhere, including apartheid Israel. Thus, making Dearborn an apartheid-free zone means we need to go beyond the one-clause divestment resolution, because it doesn't go far enough. The city needs to go further. Dearborn should ban surveillance on our communities, surveillance that violates our privacy, racially profiles our community members, and criminalizes our youth. The City Council must establish specific criteria to include divesting from companies that are contributing to human trafficking, militarism, and the prison security apparatus. These are all industries that Israel has established itself on and continues to thrive on. Our businesses, too, should also take pride in operating as apartheid-free zones. It's a huge shame to me that this city, which has a giant Arab and Lebanese population, is complicit in the genocide in Palestine, and in the genocide in my country too. I have family and friends in Lebanon who don't have the privilege of leaving, who are staring death in the face every day, not knowing when US-funded bombs could rain down onto their homes that they have lived in their entire lives, homes that were built decades ago. When I think of how to fight the injustices here, I can't help but ask myself, why believe that my government could ever stand with the people of Syria and Yemen and Iraq and Palestine and Lebanon, who are all suffering right now, when it's directly creating suffering in Arab communities from those countries right here in this city? This city doesn't protect us as it should. When we rise up for Palestine in this city, a city that should be at the forefront of standing up for Palestine, we are confronted with racist harassment and death threats under Dearborn's Instagram page, which turns a blind eye to these attacks, thus enabling them and standing with the genociders of our people. And at a federal level, we are led by those committing the genocide of our people. Thus, the city of Dearborn must stand even more firmly against this genocide and commit to becoming an apartheid-free zone. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. Thank you. Okay, just one point of clarification for those. The council on Friday, I've heard this before, saying a one-paragraph resolution. Can you hear me? Okay. We are working on getting new microphones here because there have been a problem. For those that are saying that there's a one-paragraph resolution, the council acted Friday last week with a paragraph to their investment manager. That's the proper way to do it. So I just want everybody to understand that's the way the council operates. So it's not, it's to get things done. We like to get things completed and done. Not, it wasn't for a show. So that's why it was a one paragraph legally drafted for our investment managers, which was passed by the council on Friday. That's the way we have to do business. So I just wanted to make sure that was put forward. Next we have Rana Dagger.
Hello, dear Council President, dear Council members. My name is Rana Dagher. I'm a resident of Dearborn, and I'm sure that you are all here to do good to our city, and that's why you tried to get to that position. We started, there was a brother that started with a prayer, and we were all praying for peace, for God to bring peace. Obviously, you all know God is not going to bring peace as long as we support genocide. We have to do our part. We have to divest. I know I'm speaking what's in the heart of everyone. That's not just in Dearborn, but a lot of good people in the world. You guys don't like what you see anymore more than we do. I know you don't. People are really suffering, you know that. Some of you, you have friends there, you have family there, you can't tolerate it. Last Saturday, there was a man who actually tried to burn his body, and you all saw that in Washington. People are getting desperate. I'm not saying we like that. That's not the answer. I'm not saying that, but people are really suffering, and they're getting desperate. And whether you like it or not, if you don't divest, you are part of it. It can't be that you just hate it and you say, I don't like it, but I have to. You have a will. You have, you're going to be, God will ask you. He will ask every one of us. These kids that are dying, these people that are dying, you don't like that. Please, we have faith in you. Please stop this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have, I can't read the first name of the last, Yaqub? Okay. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I don't live in Dearborn. My name is Sylvia Yakub. I don't live in Dearborn physically, but I'm always in Dearborn. I have friends there, and the city of Dearborn is close to my heart, and we always have to start somewhere. We call on the city of Dearborn to fully divest from Israel and withdraw any funds linked to Israel and any weapon manufacturers, including codifying an official policy banning such investments and to fully disclose them. Investing in an apartheid terrorist state that has been occupying and ethnically cleansing Palestine since 1948, long before Hamas existed, is not an investment. It's a moral failure. It's complicity in murdering innocent civilians, and it contributes to Palestinian daily struggle until occupation. Countless international and humanitarian organizations have condemned Israel and called for its ceasefire due to Israel's genocidal policies in Gaza over the past 12 months. 192 countries recognize the state of Palestine, and most recently, the UN General Assembly called on Israel to end its occupation of Palestine in accordance with past UN Security Council solutions. We must divest and stand with the oppressed, stand on the side of international law, and unequivocally reject apartheid in the 21st century. We must divest and use that money to improve the lives of our people here at home, and specifically in Dearborn and in Michigan. To quote one of the leading historians on the question of Israel and Palestine, Ilan Pape, the most important item to get 6 feet under is a dictionary of illusion and deception with its famous entries such as the peace process, the only democracy in the Middle East, a peace-loving nation. A replacement dictionary has been in the making for many years, redefining Zionism as colonialism, Israel as an apartheid state, and the Nakba as ethnic cleansing. At the end of the day, many people in the 21st century cannot continue to accept a colonization project requiring military occupation and discriminatory laws to sustain itself. There is a point at which the lobby cannot endorse this brutal reality and continue to be seen as moral in the eyes of the rest of the world. I believe and hope this point will be reached within our lifetime. As an Arab and Lebanese whose country is being bombed as we speak, and not for the first time, I stand here worried about my homeland and my family back home. I strongly call on you to let Dearborn lead on this issue and be on the right side of history. In solidarity. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Zahra Saad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
So I come here today, my name is Zahra Saad. I'm a Dearborn resident, specifically East Dearborn, and my family immigrated here from Bint Jbal, Lebanon in the 90s. And I come here today as a resident of Dearborn who loves their city, who loves the representation we have, who loves the work of the organizers in the city and all the people who are currently here today. And I just want to do what I know everyone here wants to do, and I want City Council to know that we are here to support you through this resolution, through drafting it, having talks about it, whatever we can do as community members to help make this process seamless and just ready to go. We are here to support you in that, and we want to have this open dialogue with you, and we want to understand the breakdown of these investments more. So I come to you not against you, but with you, and I know a lot of people here feel the same way. So I hope that we can do this together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, this one here, it's Vincent Clark. Yeah, I can't pronounce. Got it? All right. Yeah, I just can't get the last name if you don't say it for the record. I appreciate it.
So it is what it is.
That's okay. Mine's not good either.
Can y'all hear me in the back? I know the speakers have been kind of iffy. Yes? Okay. Yeah, so my name is Vincent, concerned community member, Southfield resident if it matters, and I'm here to speak on the same topic that everybody else is. On an investor call 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks after October 7th, Raytheon CEO Greg Hayes made it clear who was benefiting off the death of Palestinians when he said, across the entire Raytheon portfolio, you're going to see a benefit of this restocking. 1 year and 300,000 deaths later, We can all see clearly that this is an intentional genocide that Israel is committing in Palestine. A genocide that's been ongoing for a century, but one that has entered a new phase nonetheless. Civilians record and post footage of war crimes on social media on a daily basis. Families beg for their lives on GoFundMe. And the city of Dearborn continues to invest in the mass killing of these people whose only crime was daring to be born Palestinian. Just this morning, I read a headline describing a Dearborn man who had over 100 of his family members killed by the Zionist regime in the past year. Another article spoke on one of the people who the council remembered just earlier today, Haj Kamal Jawad, who was killed in the expanding aggression by Israel into Lebanon. And Mr. Jawad is just one of the 2,000 who have been killed in Lebanon in the past year. Another article went into detail on the full extent of the constant massacre. Over 900 families in Palestine have been exterminated wholly, and another 1,300 have only one surviving member. I wonder if you all can imagine the scale of the devastation. I wonder if you know the pain and strife that your investments bring onto your own residents. I wonder if you know what empathy is. If you know any of these things, then you know that you should divest from your holdings in these defense companies. If you knew any of these things, you wouldn't be investing over $4 million in companies like Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and General Dynamics, who all exist to sustain the occupation in the first place. And if you didn't know before, I hope the residents who have spoken before and will speak after me today have taught you something. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mr. Glenn O'Cray.
I intended to speak about the Historic District Ordinance, but it's comparatively small potatoes compared to the issue at hand. So I'm going to defer that to your next meeting, and I wish to give my condolence to those whose families have been affected.
Thank you, Mr. O'Cray. Thank you very much. Miriam Murtada? Sorry. Thank you.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My name is Miriam Murtada, and I'm a Dearborn resident. And my family is one of those families amongst many in this community, in this county, in this state, in this country that have lost family members overseas. My family members were lost on September 23rd when they were sitting in their home in Deir Kanun, Ras Al Ain, which is my late mother-in-law's village, in my late sister-in-law's house, 3 of her sons, okay? The house was bombed. There were no missiles in that house. They were not bombing Israel. They were sitting in their home. Okay, and then the home that was next to that home was my brother-in-law's home, where his son lives there with his family, and his son and his grandchild were killed because part of that home collapsed on top of them. Okay, so I just want to give you their names because I brought a photo, but I'm not allowed to present it. Sayed Mohammed Hassan Mortada, that is the grandfather of Mohammed Mortada. Then the 3 sons is Hussein Ali Mohsen, who was married to Dua Musa Kanafer, and they had a newborn baby, only maybe 2 weeks old, by the name of, by the name of Hussein Mohsen. Okay, and his wife was Dua Kanafer. Then there was Muhammad Ali Mohsen, who was a newlywed. Okay, only married for a couple of weeks, and his wife's name was Aya Afaf Kasab. Then there were two, these are 8 family members, and there were 2 others visiting my brother-in-law's son's house, who also passed away, by the name of Ali Ahmed Ishmael and his daughter Khadija Ali Ishmael. Okay, this is just one family, okay, amongst many families, and we are all grieving.
30-second warning.
Okay, and I follow a faith, and I'm a convert to that faith. Okay, and that faith says that we are supposed to care, we're supposed to stand up for the oppressed people, okay, and that we are supposed to fight for justice in any way that we can. Okay? And that's why I'm here, because for this city to do what it should do for that is to divest from Israel and divest from the military industry, because it's the military industry that is funding Israel. Okay? And I want to make one more point. We have a lot of protests at the Dearborn Library, and along the railing, they have all these different wars listed there. Then they have the war on terror, okay? It started in 2001, / no end date, okay? So I'm gonna say that war hasn't ended, and that war is a fake war, okay? That war is to go to the Middle East and divide up the Middle East. And I'm telling you, there needs to be an end date there. Okay? And I want to see it. I want to go there, and I actually have a picture of Sheikh standing in front of there, and that's how I noticed it. Okay, that needs to end. Okay? I'm sorry if I'm emotional. I'm really sorry. Okay?
We understand. Thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Okay, at this time, we have exhausted the 30 minutes. We have 6 more residents or speakers that would like to speak. I would entertain, I have no problem.
All motion.
Yeah, I'd like to. All right, great. Motion to suspend the rules and extend the time by Councilman Hammoud and supported by Councilman Paris. So we will, and any objection, unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. So we'll extend to complete these 6 so that everybody that's here can be able to speak to the council. We have Assad? Assad? Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First off, I want to say thank you for taking the first steps. It is genuinely and deeply appreciated by those who generate the funds that not just pay you, but also have been paying the genocidal, illegal Israeli occupation. So your actions are meaningful and you should be proud of them. After that, one main point that I want to make is that representation is not liberation. I want you to think about how many of people in our countries with our skins, cops with our religion, are the ones who are brutalizing and beating us over there in our nations. So, big point, representation is not liberation. Going forward with that, yes, you did a wonderful job starting with divestment. Go further. Israeli services, tactics, and products in government, in the entire Dearborn government, anything that you can do should be part of divestment. That includes road services, and that includes the police. Now, okay, absolutely policing needs to be abolished, but what we can agree on here, unanimously, is divestment. If there isn't any Israeli services or products or surveillance being used in Dearborn, then alhamdulillah, that's easy, right? If there is, then it's obligatory to act. I want you to codify full divestment into the city charter, apply BDS policy to all government institutions. That includes the road contracts, police, and of course the main point here is being accountable, being open, showing us the results. What do you actually do? Where does the money actually go, right? A big part of this, I want to just point this out, there is an organization here in Dearborn that I'm also a part of called Return Collective. They help local businesses divest from Israel and they certify them and they boost their business. So think about what you could do for this city and boost this city. Another big thing, of course, be proud and unwavering of the work that you are and you will do for us. Liberation is the end of the empire itself. and its entire war profiteering. It means we will be uncomfortable, but we are going to be uncomfortable together. We're going to be liberated together. We're all adults, so there's no need to like talk down to each other or anything like that, right? But divestment is just a word, right? Divestment is just a word. What do we actually want you to do? We want you to actually fight with us. Not just like write a couple things and like a little bit of money. No, get up and do every damn thing that you can and should be doing. Fight with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me see here. We have, I believe, Bill Anders? Yes.
Thank you. A little overwhelming. I didn't know all this was going on tonight. So I just have a measly neighborhood issue.
No, it's still meaningful. It's definitely meaningful, but please just state your name.
Bill Anders. I live in Fairlane Woods Association, which is off of Hubbard. We're a small community back there of 4 different developments. I've had some issues. We have an issue in our neighborhood. I've gone to the city building department and engineering department, try to get some resolution, and I'm just not getting anywhere. So I figured I'd come here, let you know about the issue, and maybe you guys can help us. We have stormwater runoff issues. We don't have backup in sewers in our basements, but the issue that we have is that we get water intrusion into the basement through the walls. The reason for that is when the development was designed, the runoff was direct connected into the downspouts, okay? Back when that occurred in engineering and all the permits were approved, we had a combined system where the sewer system was combined with the stormwater drains. So over the years, when that new ordinance came out through Dearborn that you had to disconnect, everyone just disconnected. Problem we have is the way that our area was designed is a lot of our areas are retaining that water, and that water can't move out. And over the years, it's created swales, and it's through erosion, and it's just not moving. And quite frankly, at least in my development, there's 4 there, the ways ours were designed, the water is running into the courtyards. It can't get out of the courtyard, so it goes back towards the building, okay? So I've met with the city, and the response I get is, hey, you guys are private property. Not our problem. We've got sewers there, or drains outside of the area that water can get to. Those are plugs. Again, private property, not our problem. So I'm trying to figure out some solutions with the city. I talked to Eagle. Eagle said there's no federal guideline that says that we can't go back to direct connect. And we have been separated from the sewer system. So now we are separate. We're not combined anymore. So I'm just trying to have a dialogue with someone as opposed to like nope, we can't do that. I just want to have a dialogue with someone to see if there's something we can do. We have a pond where some of our runoff goes to. That's great. I don't know if all of our systems need to be connected again, but I think it's something that could be explored. I've got a quote for 20 grand to have piers and foundations lifted. Time?
30 seconds.
You know, we're getting bills to, you know, our housing association has to pay for, and we may have some easy, simple fixes. I'm just trying to ask the council or the mayor for someone to, you know, talk to us and see if we can come up with some solutions.
Okay, thank you. I know, give me 1 second, but I just want to make sure, because I know a lot of people live in there. What's your association? Because there is, like you said, 4.
We're Fairlane Woods Association. We are right off of Hubbard.
I know, but there's 4 of them in there, right?
Fairlane Woods Association.
That's what it's
called. The other one's Royal Vale, the other one's the detached condos, and the other one's the apartments.
Okay, and then I know that they recently did some extensive remodeling in there too, with roads.
We redid our roads, and we paid for that.
I know, but it's a private, like they indicated, private property. So
correct.
I will refer this to the engineering to see. But Mayor, did you want to speak to it?
Yeah, I was going to say, Rabih Hamoud is here. If he can raise his hand, that's our neighborhood liaison. He'll get your contact information. Okay. We'll schedule the meeting. I would also request if you can talk to the property owners, and if we schedule the meeting, have some of them present as well.
Okay. Yeah, we have a board meeting coming up.
Perfect. Yeah. And then Mayor, just for the board, have you brought this to your board?
I spoke to I'm on the board. So our board members know about it.
Great.
They just really, our community really hasn't asked for help. And that's why I'm like, it's not your guys' fault. We haven't asked for it. I'm sitting here asking. They're just not as diligent about it, I guess.
We'll go from there. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
you so much for coming.
Thank you. So we get a follow-up. Okay, Dennis Duggan?
Council President?
Yes. Councilman Hammoud, you have some?
My only comment on that is...
Councilman Hammoud?
We've been doing a lot of hydrological evaluation already as far as the capacity of the sewer lines in the area. I mean, I would just recommend checking out if they have excess capacity. I don't think we do, but it's possible.
For engineering.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Duggan?
Hi, Dennis Duggan, Morley Avenue, 21800, apartment 1101. I get a morning view of this beautiful city every morning from the 11th floor. This is basically a little bit of support for you guys, and like the others who say that the heartbeat goes on for probably more, but I think this might tie together. A few weeks ago, I had a terrible day, just an absolutely terrible day. And I said, I think I'll go to the county or the city council meeting and have a better day. Well, you guys were having a terrible day that day when I came in. So I went home. I went home and I said, oh, you know, this council and the leadership, the electoral leadership, goes through a whole lot. So I was just thinking about all the things that you do. So I'm old enough. I'm engaged with what I can do, but I'm kind of watching all these young folks with all their energy do the things that need to be done. But I thought, I'm going to tell this council, take time to smell the roses a little bit. Just you guys, take time to take care of yourself. Take time, because like we need you. We need you so much. So I have a shelf at home with some of my superb books, and I'm a Catholic. Pope Francis just wrote a letter, what they call a pastoral letter, and a pastoral letter is not about belief, it's not about conversion, it's not about anything else. The pastoral letter is, hey, attaboy, attagirl, go for it, get going. Live what you say you are. And so now this is, Council Member Hammoud was supposed to pass the book right now, but if you can hold it up, just show the folks that the book went all the way across, and it's actually a long letter, and my thoughts are with you, and I just want to say that it's not out to convert, but it's called Fratelli Tutti, so it kind of fits in here because it's my faith leader saying fraternity and social friendships are missing today.
30-second warning.
Okay, and so friendships and social friendships are missing today. So whether you read the book or you just put it by the toilet and read it for a line or for a paragraph at times, there's lots of wisdom in there, and I hope it inspires you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you. Thank you for the book. Okay, we have three, but we have Mohammed Al-Kashi. Thank you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like to begin in the name of the Almighty God, the most compassionate, the most merciful, and may His blessings and prayers be upon His holy Prophet Muhammad and His holy progeny. And I begin with a religious statement.
Your name.
My name is Muhammad.
Okay.
Muhammad Al-Kashi. I'm from Dearborn Heights.
Dearborn Heights, got it.
Yeah. So I begin with a religious statement, but I must clarify that this is not a religious issue. Of course, I'm talking about the ongoing genocide committed by Israel in Palestine, the occupied lands of Palestine. Evidence to support that this is not strictly a religious issue is all of the people who are supporting the people of Palestine, the Pope himself, who was just the brother previously mentioned, who decried that these issues, the killing, the unjustified killing was ugly and needs to stop. The students all over the United States of America and in other countries as well, supporting pro-Palestinian movements and BDS movements, who may be Arab, non-Arab, Muslim, non-Muslim, atheist, Christian, so believers, non-believers alike. They are all standing in support of pro-Palestinian movements to stop the genocide happening in Israel. So, our demands are clear. 1, we want divestment from corporations whose investments are facilitating and aiding the genocide in Gaza and the oppression of Palestinians. 2, we want to codify into the city investment charter an official policy banning investment in apartheid entities, including the terrorist Israeli regime. 3, we demand that there's a ban on surveillance on our communities that violate our privacy and racially profiling, that are racially profiling our community members and criminalizing our youth. And 4, we want to divest from stocks, bonds, and any affiliated corporations that are connected to human trafficking, militarism, and prison security apparatus. Of course, I am talking about the stocks that the city has in aerospace, DXC Technologies, Raytheon, L3 Harris, General Dynamics, and Lockheed Martin. Thank you.
Thank you. Alia Saplani.
Is this on?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Alia Ibrahim Sablina. I was born and raised in Dearborn, East Dearborn. I currently live in Dearborn Heights. Well, I move back and forth. Y'all heard everything that I wanted to say, so instead I'm going to talk about myself and why it's connected to me. I'm about to graduate with a degree in mechanical engineering, okay, at U of M Dearborn, which I'm pretty sure you graduated from, yeah. I know a lot about you because when you got elected, everyone was like, oh my God, I know him. Yeah, we're big fans. You do amazing work, alhamdulillah. I'm so impressed because we need somebody who really, really has passion, and you have passion, and that's what we need. We need somebody who wants to divest, and that's what you want, and that's what we need. And we're on the same side, and we will always be on the same side. And I just want you to understand that from where I come from, there is very little tolerance for evil behavior. And money is the biggest motivator for evil behavior, right? Ford Motor Company makes a lot of money selling their vehicles and stuff to Zionists. And those Zionists use that to make more money by killing our people. And I know they are huge in Dearborn, right? They're literally right there. Everybody's got a Ford car. Everyone works in Ford. I'm a mechanical engineer. Ford is recruiting me. I'm recruiting Ford. But I can't work for Zionists. I refuse to work. I would rather be homeless. I would rather starve to death than work for a Zionist, okay? And the issue is that I want to work for Ford, and I plan to, inshallah. And in order to do that, I'm going to make sure that they divest, and they do not sell their vehicles or anything to Zionists. And in order to do that, we have to work together. We have to collaborate. We have to not give up. We have to not be intimidated, because money is power, and these people have a lot of money. Therefore, they have a lot of power. And Dearborn is a very powerful city. Dearborn is built from immigrants. Dearborn is built, before immigrants showed up to Dearborn, it was Ford. That's all it was. It was a ghost town. Well, that's not true. It was not a ghost town. It was just Ford and some others, and then immigrants showed up, and then they built it up, and then Ford started selling to Zionists. Okay, so let's not pretend like we don't have power. This council, everybody here has a lot of power.
30-second warning.
And they have the ability to make change that will make your children proud and my children proud. And I just want to stand in front of God and know that my conscience is clear and that I did every single thing in my power to ensure that my money is not going towards killing anybody, no matter what. Even in our town with the Dearborn police, in Detroit police, I know you guys remember me from that, which, but this is an opportunity to really stand up straight, stand up proud, really do what needs to be done, and go to sleep at night with no issue. So thank you so much.
Okay, last we have Mandy, I believe, Lee.
Hi, my name is Mandy. I'm not a Dearborn resident, but I hope to uplift some of the residents who spoke here today. Since October 7th and before, I've seen some of the most horrific things I will ever experience. I've seen mothers weep over white shrouds over their children, screaming to, "Please wake up." I've seen children bury what was left of their parents' bodies. I have seen children become the sole caretakers of other children. And I have seen the face of a 7-year-old girl whose face was burned off by white phosphorus. I've seen a boy who is not older than 5 years old missing 2 limbs, and his entire family was killed. I've seen children on hospital floors shaking uncontrollably, covered in burn scars. And I've seen babies still in their diapers, missing everything above their shoulders. And I know I've seen parents collect their children's body parts in plastic bags. And I've seen children scoop broken sacks of flour from the dirt for something to eat. And I've seen all of this and so much more. And I know you've probably seen, most of you have probably seen all of the above. And this is what Palestinians are posting on social media every day, waiting for the world to recognize their humanity. The Israelis say this is what self-defense looks like, and they post videos on social media where they film themselves bombing hospitals and schools and food aid trucks. And this is just a small fraction of what I've seen. But I just would like to ask you to please adopt a robust divestment resolution and show the rest of the cities of Michigan that full divestment is possible.
30-second warning.
And show your constituents that you recognize their humanity.
Thank
you.
I'd like to thank everyone. No, I apologize. I'm sorry. We have. No, I apologize. We closed the public comment. There's one after, and I just wanted to thank everyone. We did extend this for over more than 30 or 40 minutes to hear our residents. I know the mayor wanted to speak, and then we're going to go into our agenda. There is another public comment at the end. I just want to tell everyone that this has been a very trying time, and not just the recent expansion and so on and so forth. And many people are looking where to turn. I don't have the answer, and I don't believe anybody has the perfect answer. What I can say is that our community, and what I've said to media outlets, is stronger today than I believe than ever before. There is a tremendous amount of things that we can do. Like you're here today asking us to do things, there's things that we can do with our representatives, with our senators. There's elections. You're free to do whatever you feel is best for you and your family. But I can tell you, there is many organizations on the ground throughout the city of Dearborn that are doing tremendous work, getting food, supplies, shelter, necessary things. So any little bit that you can do to help, it does make a difference. And I feel that we are in an unfortunate state right now, and we do have a situation that is affecting our residents and affecting many, many people throughout the country, throughout the world. So we could just hope, as you indicated as well, steadfast, continue to support one another, continue to do what you can. Anything that you can do does matter. And I do feel that our community is stronger and stronger every day. I feel like it's even getting closer. So I do appreciate it. Mayor Hammoud, did you want to speak as well?
Yeah,
before we
thank
go
you.
to the
Thank you, Council President.
You need to. Okay, hang on, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Let me have Councilman Hammoud. Go ahead, Councilman Hammoud.
Okay, I'll go.
No, yeah, you can go ahead, and then we'll get the mayor, and then we'll start the agenda.
So you know what? Listening to it, I appreciate you all coming out today, and I understand the feeling a lot of you have, along with myself, which is helplessness, right? I know I've personally been watching on WhatsApp as my own grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins suffer at the hands of a war and genocide that started long before many of you in this room were born. And I get it, we all want to do something. I remember the buzzing of drones. I remember the sound, smoke, and smell of airstrikes. I was 12 years old when I was exposed to war and Israeli aggression. I was in Lebanon in 2006 and I witnessed it all firsthand. I saw the home of my grandfather, a 70-year-old man who enjoyed spending time with me in the summer and raising tomatoes, get leveled and reduced to a hole in the ground, along with the rest of his street in my hometown of Tibnin. I was rescued and evacuated by U.S. Marines in 2006, a luxury that the current federal government has not afforded to citizens currently stuck in Gaza and Lebanon. When I got back, I still marched on Washington, D.C. at 12 years old to demand an end to violence. I spoke at protests. I lobbied elected officials at a federal level. I spoke to national news media about how tragic it was that my parents' tax dollars are being used to bomb their children. All this is to say that I understand, but also as someone who understands, I can tell you everyone up here also understands. We're doing the best we can, and I understand, unfortunately, it's not enough. I wish we had a switch to flick and stop this. Even we see with an upcoming election, both parties do not care. It's abundantly clear. And you know what? How we got here and what we can actually do is something that makes me lose sleep at night as one of your elected officials. But I'm not going to get into that because it's a lot. I do appreciate the passion you all have here, and I hope you continue to take this message to others, especially at the state level, which currently outlaws BDS, and at the federal level, in the hope of breeding greater understanding of why the lives of Arab and people like us matter. But I would just say, and the mayor will get into the more technical aspects, and I'll leave it to him, but we get it. I don't think that this is, like we get it. And that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you, Councilman Humboldt. Thank you. Mayor?
Thank you. There was a lot that was spoken to, so I'm going to do my best to try to address as much as possible. I think first and foremost, I want to thank you all for organizing, for mobilizing, for participating in participatory democracy. That's the point of this, co-governance, hearing from people on the ground and hearing from the grassroots levels. Somebody said that divestment is just a word. To many, it is. Many of the communities that have passed resolutions have simply done so symbolically. What you saw happen on Friday was not a symbolic message. It was actual divestment from a portfolio that the city council has control over. It was in 2 portfolios, in fact. There were 2 resolutions passed that day. In total, the city has a $700 million fund. Of the $700 million, this council before you controls about 25% of it in 2 different funds. The remaining is controlled by 2 pension boards, largely made up of city employees. The dollars that we speak to, the $700 million, are the dollars that go to securing employees' retiree health care and pensions. Those are the dollars that are largely at play. What happened on Friday was actual divestment from many of the companies that you've spoken to in the most direct way by this council. It wasn't a symbolic resolution, again. And I would bet that we might be the first city in the state to actually accomplish divestment in some capacity. Now, with the pension boards, it's a process. We're actually waiting on some financial reports to return in order for them to have the tools at their disposal to make the decision that hopefully they'll come to. And so we're working on it. We've actually been working on this for close to a year. It takes a long time to divest. I wish it was as simple as clicking buy, sell, and moving on. The language that you saw proposed is the language we provide the managers of the dollars for those specific portfolios, indicating that they are not to permit any dollars into such companies. That's how it works. One of the largest difficulties we have is basically identifying the various lists of companies, which we have been doing for several months. And I know that I think I have a meeting with some of the individuals in this room. I'm not sure who will be attending over the next few days. We have reached out several times before the rally as well. So I'm glad that those communications finally happened. Somebody said that they think Dearborn is not at the forefront. I disagree with that statement. I think if there's anything that's unfolded across this country, I think Dearborn has been at the center of it. There have been over 80 protests across the city of Dearborn over the last year. Not a single arrest, not a single injury, not a single incident, not a single permit. And I know some of you are proud of that, and that's okay. You can protest without permits. I think actually what I told them is, I'm going to issue the permit anyway, just to see how you guys feel about that. This is deeply personal to so many of us on council, as well as myself. The reason the vote happened Friday, let me explain that. It was supposed to happen Thursday. I was actually in Amman, in the Jarash camps where the Ghazans are and the Palestinian refugees are, the post-67 refugees, with the United Nations Relief Work Agency, an agency I worked with 10 years ago, an agency I led a delegation with just last week. This issue is near and dear to me, closer than any other issue. It is a red line issue, which is why we've been working on this for so long, which is why we're thankful for the community support and the work that we're doing, and the consideration of the council who took strong action unanimously, which you don't find in other municipalities. And so among the requests or demands, as you call them, that you have, you're demanding for a symbolic resolution. What I would tell you is the city has gone past the symbolic resolution and actually begun real divestment. That's one. Two, when you talk about language within the charter, you know, the good resident Glenn O'Cray, who's one of our charter commissioners, can tell you about the charter. The charter was just voted down in August. There's been a 2-year process on the charter, so I would encourage you to reach out to a charter commission or a past charter commission. I'm not sure if you've been abolished yet, yes. Glenn, to understand that process, but it comes around every 10 years, or 12 years. Wow. 12, thank you. And that just happened and actually just got filled to renew in August, unfortunately. But I wanted to just echo that all the elected officials hear you. We don't want to do anything symbolically. I actually hate political pundits who just come up and speak words but don't actually do indeed what we're asking for. I think the same thing, you're looking to people who are running for president, more than just rhetoric, you're looking for action. And this council took action on Friday, and we're working with the pension boards. We need a few more financial assessments to come in. And once we have them, God willing, we'll be taking action as well on those boards so that we can execute divestment in the most direct way. And really what we're looking for is adopting a ethical investment portfolio, something that we can all raise our heads high about. That's ultimately what we want to stand for. We want to stand on principle and the values that you all echoed, because they're principles and values that I believe are universal amongst not only Dearborn residents, but people globally. Just as we're not allowed to invest in gun manufacturers, we shouldn't be allowed to invest in weapon manufacturers. It's a very simple statement. It's a very simple value principle. And I wish the federal government would outlaw it just as it has done outlawing on gambling and alcohol and cigarettes. I don't understand that. So fortunately, we have taken the action. Council has begun this step. There are more portfolios in the larger funds, and so you'll see language inserted in multiple spaces versus just one. But just because the language is inserted in every portfolio, it doesn't mean it hasn't been executed across those portfolios. I also want to provide that to you. And so hopefully in a meeting that we do have, we can get into some of the details, because I know there's a lot of numbers floating around. The numbers that you also see aren't the numbers for the city of Dearborn. I also want to share that. The numbers that you have are an aggregate for numerous number of entities, which is why it takes some time to actually dig into the depth of what is the city of Dearborn's and what is not. Which is what we've been working on for quite some time again. So again, thank you for participating. Thank you for being here. And hopefully, I mean, I know there's future conversations to be had. And lastly, to Ms. Murtada and to others, my condolences. This is not an easy topic. This is a topic that impacts so many families. We're at funerals just about every other day now. To the ones that we all love because of the bombardment, the genocide, and the ongoing war that seems to be expanding. With a lack of accountability from the White House. And so we are more than with you just in word and spirit, and hopefully you recognize that we're with you in deed and action as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, we are now going to return to our normal council agenda. If anyone is departing, just try to do it as quietly as possible as to not disturb the meeting. Before we move to the consent agenda, are there any items that any member wishes to remove from the consent agenda and discuss individually? Okay, hearing and saying none. Madam Clerk, can you proceed?
Council President, Finance is requesting to
Yeah.
remove item number 8 from the consent agenda.
Number 8, okay. Mr. Romer, you had something?
Yeah, so I need a council person to remove it from the agenda, and then hopefully whoever offered and supported can withdraw those, and it can just die on the table.
Okay, Councilwoman Herrick supported it. She offers the withdrawal. Councilman Paris was the offer, and he will also withdraw.
Thank you.
So,
So then,
anything else, Mr. Romer, on that?
No, nothing further.
All right, so item 8 is withdrawn completely, not just from the consent, but completely as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Madam Clerk, you have that direction? Can you proceed?
Yes. Item number 6, resolution in need of offer and support.
Offered by Councilman Abraham, supported by Councilman Enos. Any questions or comments? Okay, Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Enos?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamud?
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham?
Yes.
Councilmember Paris?
Yes.
Councilmember Al-Sawafi?
Yes.
Councilmember Herrick?
Yes.
Council President Sereni?
Yes.
We have it.
7. Yeah.
7.
Yeah, you would say 7, okay.
7 yeas.
All right,
Resolution passes.
absolutely. Next item, thank you.
Okay. Item number 11, resolution by council members Enos and Paris approving the minutes of the previous regular meeting of September 24th, 2024.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any additions, deletions, or modifications to these minutes? Okay, hearing and seeing none, is there any objection to unanimous roll? The unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item number 12, ordinance on the table, ordinance number 24-1824, an ordinance to amend the Licenses and Business Regulations Chapter 12 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending Section 12-6 entitled License Fees.
All right,
Resolution.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
Resolution by council members Enos and Al-Sawafi to take from the table for its final reading.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. A unanimous roll shall be attached to take from the table for its final reading. In order to streamline and encourage the licensing of your pets, it's being recommended to update our licensing fee to align with proposed changes in Ordinance 4-23. The changes of Section 12-6 do the following. A tiered structure was created for 3 types of licenses that will take effective April 1st of 2025. A 1-year dog license for $20 of unsterilized dogs with no microchip, a $15 unsterilized dog fee for a license with a microchip, and a $10 for a sterilized dog with a microchip would be the new fees. We also have introduced a 3-year dog license, $60 for unsterilized dogs with no microchip, $45 for unsterilized dogs with a microchip, and then $30 for a sterilized dog with a microchip as well. Dog license will automatically renew, no additional fees no additional fee, I believe, for $100 with a microchip. All license types require proof of rabies vaccination. This is the second final reading. I know we did have some questions from our supporting and mayor. Oh, he stepped down. I know the chief was here as well, but I know that there was some questions regarding administration fee and all that that happened during the committee of the whole. And what I received back is it was as written, what was in the contract that was signed by the Friends is what is going forward on. So there's no additional changes to that. This is the second and final reading. Any questions or comments? Councilman Herrick?
I understand what you just said that regarding no changes to the documents, but I think there was a question as to whether the administration was going to meet again with representatives from the animal shelter.
Yes.
And they were going to try to do that between Thursday and today.
They
did that happen?
Yes, it did happen. And Chief, would you like to speak to it? Because I know the mayor had spoke to me about it, and I spoke to you about it. If you want to
Yes, Council President. So we actually met with the animal shelter today. We had a very great, good conversation. Clerk Duraney was also in attendance, so we talked through many of the different operational concerns that the animal shelter had. We have a game plan now, which is great. In addition to that, we also have our quarterly meetings scheduled between the animal shelter and the city.
Thank you. No, that's great. And then for the council members, there is the city attorney had reminded me, of course, that we do have seven members that are going to be formed as a committee. There's going to be one council appointee that I shall appoint, but we're waiting to see the dynamics of getting it together, and then we'll appoint someone from the council. All right, so this is the second and final reading. Any other questions or comments? Madam Clerk, can we have the final reading?
This is the final reading of ordinance number 24-1824, an ordinance to amend the licenses and business regulations of Chapter 12 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending Section 12-6 entitled License Fees.
All right, can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Enos. Councilmember Hammoud.
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham.
Yes.
Councilmember Paris.
Yes.
Councilmember Al-Sawafi.
Yes.
Councilmember Herrick.
Yes.
Council President Sereni.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent. The ordinance passes.
Thank you. Next item.
Ordinance number 13. Item number 13. Ordinance on the table. Ordinance number 24-1825. An ordinance to amend the Animals Chapter 4 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending Section 4-23 entitled License Required, Number of Dogs Allowed. Resolution by Council Members Hammoud and Herrick to take from the table for its final reading.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And then a unanimous roll shall be attached to take from the table for its final reading. The recent approved animal shelter contract contains a provision that gives the shelter authority to issue and collect dog license fees on behalf of the city. The shelter will apply a credit against the city fees under the contract for the full amount of any license fee collected. The proposed changes of the fall are do the following. Allows the animal shelter to accept applications for dog license to align with paragraph 3 of the animal shelter contract, which authorizes the shelter to issue and collect fees on behalf of the city of Dearborn. Beginning April 1st, 2025, there shall be 3 types of fees. Dog fee licenses were stated in the past ordinance. Creation of authority for a reduced application fee upon proof submitted at the time of application that the dogs were spayed or neutered as indicated in our previous ordinance. Additional titles to subsections in the ordinance to make it more user-friendly as well. This is the second and final reading of this ordinance. Any questions or comments? Okay, Madam Clerk, can we have the final reading?
This is the final reading of ordinance number 24-1825, an ordinance to amend the Animals Chapter 4 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending Section 4-23 entitled License Required, Number of Dogs Allowed.
Okay, can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Enos.
Yes.
Councilmember Hammoud.
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham.
Yes.
Councilmember Paris.
Yes.
Councilmember Al-Sawafi.
Yes.
Councilmember Herrick.
Yes.
Council President Sereni.
Yes.
7 yeas, no nays. Ordinance passes.
All right, next item.
Item number 14. Ordinance on the table. Ordinance number 24-1826. An ordinance to amend the Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places Chapter 17 of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Dearborn by amending Article 6, Section 17-242, entitled Public Benefit Declared, Obligation of Property Owner. Resolution by Council Members Enos and Hammoud to take from the table for its final reading.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Unanimous roll shall be attached to take from the table for its final reading. At the Council's request, several amendments have been made to the tree licensing ordinance in Chapter 12. As a result, changes are needed on ordinance Section 17-242. Previously, the resident was required to plant trees at their own expense on the easement, or they would have it added to their tax bill. Section 17-242 is adding language allowing residents to waive the planting fee requirement in the easement in front of their property between the sidewalk and street. This being removed to reflect the city's practice of planting trees at no cost to the resident and also planting trees in other parts of the city as well. This is the second final reading of this ordinance. Any questions or comments on this item? Okay. Madam Clerk, can we have the final reading?
This is the final reading of ordinance number 24-1826, an ordinance to amend the Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places Chapter 17 of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Dearborn by amending Article 6, Section 17-242, entitled Public Benefit Declared, Obligation of Property Owner.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Enos.
Yes.
Councilmember Hammoud.
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham.
Yes.
Councilmember Paris.
Yes.
Councilmember Al-Sawafi.
Yes.
Councilmember Herrick.
Yes.
Council President Sereni.
Yes.
7 yeas, no nays. Ordinance passes.
Thank you. Next item.
Item number 15, ordinance number 24-1827, introduced by Councilmember Al-Sawafi. An ordinance to amend the Licenses and Business Regulations Chapter 12 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending Section 12-5 entitled License Year Renewal, Resolution by Council Members Hammoud and Herrick to table the ordinance.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The proposed amendment is being made to update the expiration date for dog license to align with state law. Currently, dog license expires annually on March 31st. The proposed amendment changes will make the expiration move from March 31st to March 1st annually to bring us in compliance. This is the first of 2 readings. Is there any questions or comments? Okay, Madam Clerk, can we have the first reading?
This is the first reading of ordinance number 24-1827, an ordinance to amend the Licenses and Business Regulations Chapter 12 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending Section 12-5 entitled License Year Renewal.
All right, any questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll?
Yeah, that one, your offer of support left, so we need a replacement.
Okay, the offer was by Councilman Hammoud. We will substitute with Councilman Al-Sawafi. Okay, any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item. Thanks.
Item number 16, ordinance number 24-1828, introduced by Councilmember Abraham. An ordinance to amend the Parks and Recreation Chapter 15 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending Section 15-53 entitled Dog Park Use Generally. Resolution by Council Members Herrick and Hammoud to table the ordinance.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we have a correction on 15. That was the first reading, so it was introduced by Councilman Al-Sawafi, so we would have to have the offer by Councilman Abraham.
That's fine, yes.
Thank you.
As opposed to Councilman Al-Sawafi because he introduced it. So
Thank
Councilman Abraham for the offer. All right, Mr. Romer, do we have to read that back through? Or?
No, but you have the same problem on 6, the item we're currently on.
No problem.
You're good.
Yeah. When you leave, when you have an offer and you leave, we have to redo everything. All right, thank you, Councilman. That's all right. So 15 will remain with Councilman Al-Sawafi introduction, Councilman Abraham offer, and Councilwoman Herrick as support. That was completed. Item 16. Did you read the first part of that?
I read the synopsis.
Okay, so then Councilman Hammoud is back here. We will then continue. The proposed amendment on item number 16 is being made to update the expiration of dog park permits to March 1st. This is being done to align with our proposed changes to expire for the expiration of dog licenses to make it both of them at the same time and the permit to expire at the same time for easiest of the residents. This is the first of 2 readings. Any questions or comments on this item? Okay, Madam Clerk, can we have the first reading?
This is the first reading of ordinance number 24-1828, an ordinance to amend the Parks and Recreation Chapter 15 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dearborn by amending Section 15-53 entitled Dog Park Use Generally.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, unanimous roll shall be attached unless here any objection. So is attached. Next item.
Item number 17, resolution by Council Members Hammoud and Herrick awarding a 2-year contract with up to 3 one-year renewal options available to Johnson Controls, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $349,056.24 for the initial 2-year period for mechanical systems and monthly maintenance and repair at the John B. O'Reilly Jr. West and Suzanne Serini East buildings and requesting immediate effect.
It does. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Clerk. The Housing Department requires an outside contractor to perform mechanical systems inspections, preventions, and maintenance and repairs to maintain the John B. O'Reilly Jr. West and Suzanne Serini East buildings' mechanical systems. Biweekly inspections, monthly preventative maintenance, and as needed corrective maintenance services are conducted to identify and correct present and potential problems and to ensure systems integrity. Purchasing on behalf of the Housing Department recommends a competitive purchase to Johnson Controls Incorporated. The contract shall be for a term of 2 years with up to 3 one-year renewal options. The value of the contract is not to exceed $349,056 for year one, for year one, with 2 initial contract periods shall be charged to this Senior Apartments Operating Fund, Housing Repair and Maintenance Fund. Budget. Future funding is contingent upon adoption of the fiscal year budgets going forward as we budget yearly. It is requested that the council authorize the award to a 3 one-year renewals with immediate effect. Any questions or comments on this item? Any objection to a unanimous roll? Okay, unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item number 18, resolution by council members Herrick and Enos, granting the request of the UAW Local 600 to obtain a special event permit in order to host its annual Trunk or Treat event at the parking lot located at 10550 Dix on Saturday, October 26, 2024, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., with assistance from the police department for road closures at Fernie and Dix and Fernie and Verner. Also authorizing a noise waiver for the duration of the event and requesting immediate effect.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. We will have Councilman Abraham substitute for Councilwoman Herrick.
Thank you.
All right. The UAW Local 600 of Dearborn is requesting the 34th City Council to approve to host a Trunk or Treat event on Saturday, October 26th at 5 p.m. It is requested the City Council authorize road closures at Fernie and Dix, as well as Fernie and Verner. Is that Verner? Sorry, yeah, they spelled it wrong. Verner. Starting at 3 p.m. and concluding at 8 p.m. with immediate effect. This is a great event, and it's been going on for some time, so we do appreciate UAW Local 600 for this event. Again, immediate effect is being requested. Any questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item number 19, resolution by council members Paris and Enos, granting the request of Divine Child High School to conduct their annual homecoming parade on Friday, October 11th, 2024, beginning at 6 p.m., with assistance from the police department for traffic control and an escort for the entire duration of the parade route, subject to reimbursement for city services, all applicable ordinances, and the rules and regulations of the police department. Also authorizing a noise waiver for the duration of the event and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Devon Child High School is seeking council approval to conduct their annual homecoming parade on Friday, October 11th, beginning at 6 p.m., subject to all applicable ordinances, rules, and regulations provided by the Dearborn Police Department. The 2024 Dearborn High School homecoming parade route will be the same as in the previous years. The parade will start out of the circular drive at Dearborn High School and run through North Silverly Lane, Cogburn Street, North Denwood, and Wilson until the parade reaches its destination at the Divine Child High School football field. Divine Child High School is also requesting assistance from the police department through traffic control and escort through the entire duration of the parade. As always, the Police and Parks and Recreation Department administrations acknowledge that they are familiar with the details and in conjunction with this event, they have no objections to it or concerns to it. Divine Child or objections or concerns to the continuance of the Divine Child Homecoming Parade. This is an annual special event that is subject to reimbursement for city services, including the police overtime. Any questions or comments on this item? Any objection? Unanimous roll? Okay. Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item number 23, resolution by council members Enos and Herrick, concurring in the appointment of Deborah Guido Allen to the East Dearborn Downtown Development Authority with a term ending June 30th, 2028, requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is an appointment for Deborah Allen to the East Downtown Dearborn District Development Authority Board of Directors. It's a 4-year term ending on June 30th, 2028. Again, failure of any multi-member body appointee to possess the required qualifications for appointment by this charter or law shall result in that member immediate vacancy from the multi-member body to which they were appointed. We wanted to remind everyone on our boards to thank them for their volunteer service. And Amir, did you have anything on this, or are you good?
Yeah, this is the CEO of Corwell Dearborn, and so we're super thrilled that she'll be joining the board. Obviously, Corwell has their facility over on Michigan and Schaefer, and so excited that there'll be more active participants in what's happening in our East DDA.
Thank you, Mayor. We do appreciate it. Any questions or comments? Any objection? Unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item number 24, resolution in need of offer and support.
I'll offer.
Support.
Offered by Councilman Abraham, supported by Councilwoman Herrick.
Authorizing to reduce the summer tax bill number 82-09-221-01-001 related to the property located at 22359 Cherry Hill in the amount of $2,860, which includes billing for 2 false alarms and the applicable 25% transfer fee as approved by the Security Systems Board and pursuant to Dearborn City Ordinance Section 14-10 and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The property on 22359 Cherry Hill transferred ownership due to the original taxpayers death of a fatal disease. During the transfer of process, property received multiple false alarms, and the respondent party was unaware of the issue. This request is pursuant to the Dearborn City Ordinance, Section 14-10, Alarm Systems. The Security Board system met on October 1st, 2024, and approved the removal of the two false alarm fees and two false alarms as well as applicable fees. Therefore, the Dearborn Police Department is requesting the reduction of the summer tax bill related to 22359 Cherry Hill for the amount of $2,860. This amount includes removal of billing of two false alarms and the applicable 25% transfer fee. We requesting immediate effect to avoid future further penalties and fees. Any questions or comments on this item? Okay, any objection, unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Item number 25, resolution in need.
Offered by Councilman El Sawafi, supported by Councilwoman Herrick. Continue, go ahead.
Granting the request of the Economic Development Department to extend the temporary use and closure of a select portion of West Village Drive between Mason and Monroe Streets from 3 p.m. on Fridays until 7 a.m. on Mondays for the West Dearborn Downtown Development Authority's pilot program and requesting immediate effect.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The Economic Development Department had a successful pilot program that was able to deter illegal vehicles activities that was happening on West Village Drive and facilitate a safe pedestrian experience for visitors and residents. This item is being requested to extend the road closures of select part of West Village Drive between Mason and Monroe from October 11th until December 30th, 2024. The extension of the temporary road closure will be on Fridays between 3 p.m. until Mondays at 7 a.m. and immediate effect is being requested. Councilman Al-Swafi?
Thank you, Council President. So I spent some time downtown and I seen those closures. I seen a better flow of foot traffic. It seems like it's safe, but I just wanted to take from the administration on some of the outcome from this, maybe positive outcome that I've seen, or maybe some other things that I missed out. Mayor, can you speak to that?
Yeah, in our conversations with the residents who live in the downtown area, I mean, it's obviously arbitrary, but they were like it's like a 40% improvement just by closing these roads Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Obviously, we basically want to extend this so we can do this year round moving forward. So the pilot was successful, so we'll keep it going. Obviously, this will be coupled with the investments we're doing on the parking decks with the gates that's coming. And obviously, you saw the first high-race crosswalk also inserted between the Peace Park West and the former parking lot across the street, so that also slows down traffic. And so collectively, all the efforts are working. We're getting a less number of complaints coming in. And overall, to your point, it's most of us very happy. The business owners are all happy. We've spoke to every single business owner.
All of them?
All of them. Even all of them.
Even the first one?
All of them.
All right.
And so it's been very promising. We just want to keep it going, moving forward.
Anything negative that maybe we're missing out on?
Nobody has said anything negative. I'm not sure what is. I can't see what that is from here.
It's just the barricade. That wasn't really a good representative.
Yeah,
that's true.
We've had 0 incidents, so that's been great. 0 incidents, and honestly, relative to what it was, it's so much quieter.
Oh yeah.
So you want to talk about even from like a noise perspective, it gets so much quieter once you stop the traffic on that one block, and it makes a better environment for all the business owners. So
Is there a heads up of potential extension somewhere else? I know we have the Peace Park.
As of right now, this is what we have planned, and then we'll assess probably next year where to go from there.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. No, it's been very successful. Any objection to a unanimous roll? Councilman Hammoud, before we get there? Yeah, Councilman Hammoud.
I can't overstate my abundant support for road closures in our downtowns. I think it's one of my favorite topics to talk about. So thank you so much to engineering and economic development and the mayor for being willing to consider these things, because kind of like what you guys said, which is it's so obvious when you walk down there, and that's one of my favorite parts of town. I go out to eat lunch there, and I go to get coffee in the area, and it's so easily obvious that when you shut down vehicle traffic in a pedestrian area, the whole area starts to actually become so peaceful and pleasant to spend time in. And I've talked to residents too in that area, and they're incredibly happy by the reduction in noise, because even if you go slightly west of there, those houses, once you stop getting all the traffic that was going through, it also reduced some of the traffic in West Village Commons, and then hopefully we'll be doing more road closures closer to the Peace Park, and inshallah we'll get full-blown bollards that I keep campaigning for, and hopefully I'll get them before the end of the term. So thank you. Please.
Excellent.
All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? Any objection to unanimous roll? Unanimous roll shall be attached. Next item.
Public comment.
Well, I think we go to the council first. Public comment, okay, we'll go through these first. So it's a final agenda item?
It is, yes.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. So before I open it to my colleagues, I know a lot was said about the tragic events that's been continuing for over a year now and now expanding into other parts of the world and other countries of the world. Again, I think everything was said. All I can say is hopefully everybody can lean on one another. And as I indicated earlier, there is a tremendous amount of great organizations that are doing a lot that are helping. And hopefully that anyone that has loved ones there, hopefully can reach out to them and hopefully they're safe. And hope to God we get through this as little damage has been done, as we know what's been going on for over a year and is now expanding into other parts of the world. So hopefully if anyone has someone affected, we wish you the best, and hopefully this will subside at some point. I'd like to open up to my colleagues. Councilman Paris.
Yes, if I could, thank you, Council President. I just wanted to take the moment to also remind people about what's going on in the southeastern United States, especially what Florida is facing now. Up through the Carolinas, you know, we've got some relatives down there in North Carolina. Of course, everybody in Michigan knows the snowbirds that go down to Florida anyways, and they have property down there. Devastation. It's much more, I think, really, than what I'm seeing reported. I mean, there are a lot of deaths, let alone anticipated deaths, animals, all sorts of things going on. So just keep them in your thoughts also for what's going on. You know, we need to help our own residents here in the United States also. Thank you.
Councilman Herrick.
Thank you, Council President. I have another thing I want to mention, but I appreciate Councilman Paris talking about the devastation that's happening due to the hurricane. Just a reminder to people who are well-intended to help when it comes to providing supplies and assistance to the people going through this devastating experience and their pets, which we often forget about until we hear sad news about relocation of pets and things. If you are meaning to donate money or your time, there are lots of credible organizations that provide those opportunities. Top of mind is Red Cross. But I know even locally there are ways to make donations that will get to those who are definitely in need. But just for those who are not connected with those nonprofit organizations, be aware of, unfortunately, there are also individuals or groups that try to take advantage during these times when we mean to be generous. And just check out the organization you're donating to if you are giving, because I know that unfortunately there are scammers out there who take advantage of those of us who have good intentions. So speaking of good intentions, our Dearborn Historical Museum this weekend has a weekend full of wonderful family-friendly activities. And Jack Tate, the director of the museum, was here, or the curator from the museum was here earlier, and he was reminding us by waving the flyer to remind us that he had to leave earlier, but asked us to please tell the public. On Friday night is the return of Booze as B-O-O-S, the Halloween-themed festival, Booze and Brews, at the Historical Museum in the Commandant's Quarters again this year, and that's from 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. There will be alcoholic and non-alcohol beverages available, as well as your ticket gets you admission to yard games, music from a DJ, on-site opportunities to have your tarot cards read, a silent auction, and many other activities on Friday night. And that's a return of a very popular event that supports our museum's activities. And then on Saturday, there's a family-friendly day full of activities, especially for younger children I did a screenshot. I wanted to make sure that we gave you information about that. So Saturday from 12 to 4, annual Kids Halloween Party, known this year as the Family Fall Festival, happening at the Commandant's Quarters as well. Bounce house, featuring a bounce house, yard games, snacks, coloring activities, story time, and plenty of trick-or-treat candy. And more information is available about both of these wonderful activities on the museum's Facebook page and social media sites. So hope to see you out there. I'll be there. So hope to see you there.
Thank you, Councilwoman Herod. Before I turn it over to Mayor Administration, just something I did forget I wanted to just put on the record. I did speak with our Corporation Council regarding the charter and the fact that the council is charged with transitional of government. Most of us, all of us were here on the new administration. I know, Mayor, I didn't get to speak with you directly regarding it, but the council is charged to do an ordinance, which we did not have on the books, for an orderly transition and creating an office of office-elect. So I am asking, I had talked to our Corporation Council, and I would, what had happened under the last transfer, I do not want to happen again. Yeah, please. Absolutely. So what I am going to need support, of course, from the council, but what I asked our Corporation Council is to see if there's anything out there similar. I don't anticipate this to be a one type of read. We need to really have a comprehensive ordinance that lays out specifically office elects, what they can do, what they can't do, allow access, but also to keep in mind that the elected official is still elected to a certain time frame. And the charter charges us with that, and there was no record, there was none on the books during the last election when I did speak to the mayor. It was in the last few hours, last few weeks when I realized that. So I want to try to make sure there's some checks and balances where an independent, such as the clerk, shall alert the council within so many days of certification, and then an ordinance shall be laid off that there'll be an office of a mayor-elect or council president-elect or clerk-elect and so on and so forth, so that we can have some orderly transitions as opposed to coming in with getting the key at 12:01 and midnight. So it is part of the duty of the council, and I do not feel that it was handled properly whatsoever, and I don't want it to happen again. So however it didn't happen, my job is always to go forward and clean it up. So I wanted my colleagues to know that. I asked Mr. Romer, our Corporation Council, the hope is to have it completed sometime before the end of this year, if we can. And I'm sure we'll have a study session once we get closer to it, but I want to just put that on the record. Mayor?
Thank you for that. I would just say we expended so many resources, and technically the city was without appointees come the new year because there was nothing in place. So thank you for bringing that forward.
Absolutely.
There's a whole host of things, so I'll go through them fairly quickly. To Councilman Parrish's points, we have many mayor friends in the Carolinas and Florida who we're reaching out to see how we can be of assistance from here. As a community that has suffered through flooding events, obviously nothing relatively compared to the hurricanes that they're facing. Right. And so I'll keep you apprised of that. I want to thank everybody that came out to the Peace Park West opening. It was a phenomenal day. I stopped by the Peace Park East today. It's probably a week or 2 weeks away from full completion. So that one's beautiful as well. I don't know if we'll do the grand opening this year. It's weather dependent. And so we'll see more than likely probably next year. Friday the 18th is the DAWVC officer installation. So I want to put that on your calendar. That's October 18th, 5:30 to 7:30 in Studio A. You should receive that invitation. The Haunted Trail is coming back. This is the third year in a row. Third, correct. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 18th, 19th, 20th, from 7 to 10 over at Ford Field. On the 19th, from 6 to 8, there will be a trunk or treat for young children if you'd like to pass by then. New from an event perspective, we have a Dearborn Day at the DIA. And so we've been working closely with the DIA. They actually have a new exhibit coming in on relatively speaking to Islamic history, Islamic artifacts. And so we've been working closely with them, just given the community that we serve, and trying to organize a day of getting residents to go there, obviously through your Wayne County tax dollars. The DIA is free to you as a Wayne County resident, so highly encourage folks to come out there. Tomorrow there's a vaccine clinic for anybody that wants to get your flu vaccine. Vaccine clinic is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Lincoln Ballroom. Walk-ins are welcome, so you can come on in. I'll be there tomorrow. I want to take a moment to, I think those are the last that I had. And maybe lastly, I'll have Maria come up and introduce herself, if you're cool with that. So Maria Willett's the newest director for the Philanthropy and Grants Department.
Oh yeah, we definitely need to see her.
Yeah. So I'll let you introduce yourself and your extensive background, but let me just say, what a privilege and honor to have her join the team. Yeah, I'll stop there before I get in trouble. Okay.
Hello, everybody. It's very nice to meet you. My name is Maria Willett. I am your new Director of Philanthropy and Grants. I'm super honored to be a part of the Dearborn team. A little bit of history about me. Previously, I served for 10 years with the City of Rochester Hills, most previously as the Chief of Staff there for the past 5 years. I actually know Leslie through the MML Michigan and Women Government Board that I serve on. Served on that board for about 4 years, heavily engaged in the community over there, and also served on the Community Foundation of Greater Rochester Board, which is where kind of our philanthropy work came in from. So I'm super excited to get started. The directors have been super welcoming. Really, everyone on the team has been very open and helpful and supportive. So looking forward to get started.
Excellent. We can't wait. Thank you. Welcome to be here. All right, Mayor, anything else from your department?
That's all I have.
All right, Madam Clerk, anything from the clerk department?
Just a quick update. We are busily preparing for Election Day. We have mailed 10,450 ballots to date with 2,000, just over 2,000 received. We are prepping for early voting, which will begin Saturday, October the 26th at the Ford Community Performing Arts Center, 9 to 5. It'll be 9 days of early voting, and if you need your absentee ballot, please come see us at the counter.
Is that Studio A?
It is not, Mayor. It will be at the basketball courts.
Yeah, that's good. And it's going to remain there, right? That would be nice.
We're going back and forth on this.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
We will.
Depend on the turnout, right? So hopefully that works out. All right, thank you very much. At this time, we will move to our final public comment section. Again, if there's anyone who'd like to address the council, there's public comment cards on either side. Just fill one out. And if you don't want to fill one out, you can just raise your hand after, and I will get it to you right away. All right, right now we have Anthony, I think, Deegan? Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir. Either one. And just your name and address for the record.
Yeah. My name is Anthony Deegan, longtime Dearborn resident, like 20 years. I just want to say, first of all, before I make my comment, I want to say that I am pro-humanity. I think that we are all made in the image of God. I think that any kind of suffering or loss or death is terrible. And so with that said, I do want to say that there are many Dearborn residents who hold a different point of view than that which was shared today. And they do so in good conscience. So for me, with what I said even about humanity and we're all created in God's image, I think to 1948, and what happened with Israel becoming a nation and some of the things the homes being taken at gunpoint, I can't condone that as a human being. But I also can say that we don't live in a vacuum and these things are complicated. And so I do think it's a little bit disturbing that we're not taking into account the things that happened on October 7th. I know that one of these ladies shared the terrible things that are happening with the phosphorus and all that, and that breaks our heart. But I also think about the atrocities that took place on October 7th, where I'll forever have burned in my mind a woman who is held by 5 different men, blindfolded, bleeding from the seat of her pants because she was raped or sodomized. I have burned into my mind a small child who his parents were killed and was taken captive, and he was being taunted asking, where's your mom, where's your dad? And so for me, I say this, both things are rough to see. And I think that we have to say, would you do unto your neighbor as unto yourself? And so with what happened in October 7th, I ask myself as a third-party objective person, what would I do in that situation? And I think that I think we are doing a disservice to trying to remediate the problem if we act like this doesn't play into effect, as if Israel's just acting homicidally and genocidally. As if this is just coming out of the blue. So, but for October 7th, Israel is not doing what they're doing to Hamas. Maybe they would do it later, maybe they wouldn't, we don't know. But for the bombs being launched from Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, Israel is not retaliating.
30-second
and I know that this is a difficult thing, but I think that I urge the council to reconsider this measure, because if we really want to see this situation change and families not die and little kids live and mothers and fathers be with their family in peace, that we have to think the full picture, because Israel is not going to not retaliate. So if we want to see people in Lebanon live, if we want to see people in Gaza live, we have to understand that there are two sides to this story. and that if we really want peace, that we have to be practical about this. And so I do want to thank you. I want to thank you for your time. But I do ask that you consider that there are many residents like me who feel this way, and that I just ask that you be mindful that you represent everybody and not just a certain point of view, and that those who dissent do so in good conscience. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm going to make some remarks, Council President. I'm sorry.
Mayor?
So I'm going to take some liberty in speaking on behalf of all the electeds and I think all the residents in that everybody condemns the killing of any and all innocent people. Justice does not have two sides, though. We have to be very clear about this. And October 7th was not the beginning. It was 1 year after 75 years, in fact. The idea that somebody would argue on why you should not, or why you should continually invest in weapon manufacturers, I can't imagine somebody who praises humanity to say we should continually invest in those who make bombs. Bombs don't uplift. Bombs don't create justice or create everlasting peace. They do the complete opposite. Violence begets violence. We must understand this. Occupation and apartheid are wrong. Don't take this body in which you believe is not neutral. Take the highest court in the land, the International Criminal Court, International Court of Justice, who have litigated this and issued their verdicts on this, that what is occurring is apartheid and is occupation. And what is happening is against all international law. That is the truth. Yes, we represent all the city of Dearborn, but justice does not have two sides. And I'm damn proud of this council for taking the side of justice, and we would take that vote each and every single day for the rest of this year for as long as we're tenured, because it's the right vote to make. Because that is a vote that not only this council should make, but every elected body across this country and across this globe should make. I would not imagine you step to this podium and say after a mass shooting at a school that we should invest in Smith & Wesson. You wouldn't advocate for that. It's not permissible. You wouldn't advocate for us to invest in casinos and gambling. You wouldn't advocate for us to invest in smoking tobacco companies and the likes. Yet the audacity to stand at a podium and say you should invest in weapons and thousands of pounds of bombs that are being dropped on our family members on a daily basis, as if that uplifts whom? That uplifts the weapons industry. It uplifts nobody else.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay. Next, we have Jenny. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And just your name and address for the record again, and thank you for waiting for the second public comment.
Thank you. My name's Jenny, and I'm a Livonia resident.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor, for that. When I decided to come and speak tonight, and I'm sorry I didn't know the rules, I said to a friend, I just hope no one triggers me. And then right before I'm about to speak, I can't understand how somebody can come up here and speak of a woman being violently raped and abused and children dying, and it's happening every day over and over and over and over again. I can't understand. I can't understand. I just can't understand. I'm a lifelong Detroiter who's been in Livonia the last couple years. I grew up right here on the other side of Warren, really close. This is my community. This is my family. I'm still here all the time. Honestly, we all know best food is here. It's a place where I know I can support local business and it'll stay in our community. Thank you, City Council. I can only imagine how boring your work is by sitting and listening and reading all this stuff that I just had to sit through to listen to public comment. You deal with all kinds of people and personality that bring all kinds of knowledge and new things that stretch your brain, and then all kinds of crazy, ridiculous things. I thank you, Mayor, for further explaining things today. That was really helpful for me as I'm learning more about what's happening here in Dearborn. I also was around during your campaign and the election and the excitement around that, so it was good to hear you talk tonight. I'm excited to see that you and this council are really set some examples and beginning to set some examples for other cities around the country, around divestment. I need your support right here in the other suburbs with that type of work. And thank you, Mr. Hamad, for sharing your trauma, your personal story with us, your deep trauma. That's not what you got elected for. That's not what you are representing, supposed to be needing to do, is to dig that and then share all that with us in a meeting in this kind of setting with people you don't even know. And I honor and respect your sharing that tonight. It's so traumatic what's happening to me, and I don't have any of those connections, and it's so traumatic what's happening. I also want to thank you for your long history of resisting injustice. I also have a long history of resisting injustice. And I also, you guys are powerful. You've already taken some powerful steps. You are the elected officials. You have power. I want to see you claim it more.
30-second
I want you to speak louder. I want the community to hear more of this transparency that we're hearing tonight. I hear your congregation asking for divestment, full divestment. Also, they want to be a part of the work. They bring brilliance to this. And lastly, I just want to speak to the children in Gaza, Palestine, now Lebanon, and right here in Dearborn, who are watching you and looking at you and learning about this in their local government classes. And they need to feel represented, and they need to feel safe right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. All right, we do have, we have one more, a couple more. Thank you. Okay, we have Mohammed Mohsen.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Mohammed Mohsen. I was born in Dearborn, but I currently live in Dearborn Heights. Just want to touch on a couple of things. First and foremost, divestment has been brought up before this council before. It's been about 4 months. I understand the urgency that this topic poses to the extent that it was required to be done last week on Thursday and Friday without real public announcement. But there was plenty of time in the last 4 months to bring it on the table. I appreciate the efforts of everybody sitting in front of me now. I appreciate the resolution language that's been passed thus far. I think you guys all understand where we stand at this point, at least what I assume is the majority of this city. All I want to say really is what you guys have done so far is great. We would like to see more. We're ready to be in the ring with you guys, to assist you guys in any way that we can, to offer whatever resources that we have, whether it's human capital or expertise, to help you guys in your endeavor. To us, this is the #1 issue. I understand what's happening in the southeast of the United States is really difficult, and I don't wish that upon anybody. And I hope, any loved ones you guys may have are safe from any harm. But it's been a year. It's been a year. And almost every day we watch hundreds of people dead. And it's rough. So thank you guys for what you guys have done so far, but please do more. And we're happy to help in any way that we can. We're not enemies of anyone on this council or in the city. We consider this city home. We consider everyone here family. So just as a plea of help, please do more. Do as much as humanly possible. Do more than what's possible. If currently 1/4 of the budget sits within the city council and the city mayor's office, figure out how to make that 100%. There are ways. You guys understand rules are written and rewritten and voted upon. Nothing at this level is set in stone. And we would like to see you guys fight as much as humanly possible. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Scott.
My name is Scott Cherry. I'm a resident of Dearborn. I do not support divestment. I do not believe there's a genocide happening. I think that is a very one-sided narrative. And most guys like me are afraid to vocalize the other narrative. I do think there are two sides to justice, Mayor Hammoud, or at least two perspectives on it. So I disagree with you, Mayor Hammoud. In fact, in many conflicts like this, there's 3 or 4 or 5 perspectives on justice. And yes, it goes back 75 years or more than that, and I don't get to unentangle it in 3 minutes. it's not so simple as the Zionists are evil, bad monsters killing all the children in Palestine. It's just not. The state of Israel is surrounded on all sides by actors who would certainly push them into the sea and or commit genocide if they could do it. And it's very complicated and messy, but Israel is a very solid democracy in the Middle East where Jews and Arabs inside have all their rights and their freedoms to flourish and prosper. That's my statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, next we have Aya. And just kind reminder, the 3-minute limitation, please respect the time.
You would have afforded me the same as you respected the previous speaker, who
I'm
you
sorry?
gave time to, the one that was speaking.
The gentleman did not exceed his 3 minutes. You exceeded your 3
previous
minutes. I had to
one,
gavel you
sitting
because you
next to
could,
him,
you
but
would
it's
not
okay. I
stop.
don't want it to go over my time.
Do you, your time is not guaranteed. You had your time to speak. I just want to remind you to be respectful and to finish within 3 minutes. If not,
Right,
I'm
I
gonna
would like
have
to
you
be
cut
afforded
out.
the same respect as the other speaker, the other gentleman over there that went over his time, and you did not interrupt him.
We never went over his time.
Okay.
But I will stick
Aya,
within my
you know
3
what?
minutes.
Yeah.
I will stick within my
Okay,
3 minutes,
go
but I
ahead.
would just like
Begin.
to point that out.
Go ahead.
Councilmember Hamoud, thank you for sharing your experience with us. I know you're dealing a lot with, and a lot of you are dealing with a lot that we're dealing with. My grandfather also was kicked out of Palestine in 1948. He was born in Syria and immigrated to Palestine, to Jerusalem in the 1930s, and he was a sheikh at Al-Aqsa there, and he fought against the British occupation until he was kicked out in 1948, where my father was born in a refugee camp in Amman. This issue is deeply connected to this community. We are descendants of people who've been kicked off their lands. And when it comes to October 7th, the Palestinians broke out of a concentration camp. They broke out of a concentration camp and they broke down a wall, the apartheid wall that surrounds them. They broke out of that. And 400,000 people are dead, and our senators won't even acknowledge the pain and the destruction that 75% of Gaza has been destroyed. People are crowded, almost 2 million people. They're saying 400,000 people have been murdered. Life isn't normal for any of us. Like, these city council meetings feel terrible to me because life feels like it's just moving on. People are being murdered. It's a genocide. Why are we acting like this is normal? We've learned about previous Holocausts. We said we would never do this again. We would never contribute to it. That's why we learned about it. So why is life continuing like normal? Everything needs to stop. Everything needs to stop. Children are walking out of the rubble, orphans. They're becoming orphans. They have nowhere to go, and there's no food in Gaza. They're being starved. Life isn't normal, and it hasn't stopped for us in the last year. These protests you're seeing, we do them every time. We've gone to the president. I've addressed Kamala. I have addressed her to her face. Our senators, I've addressed them to their faces. Our Congress people, we've addressed them. We've sent them thousands of letters. We've called them thousands of times. We've logged these. We've logged these instances. They don't listen to us. What are we supposed to do? We're coming to our council members. You guys are the closest people to us. We want to divest from this murder and this children are being impunity. We have Michael Guido. His name is on the Performing Arts Center. He ran on the ballot of what do we do about the Arab problem. Like, this has become so, we've become so dehumanized in this society. Like, we need to tackle these items so that these things aren't normal to us. Surveillance isn't normal to us. Community members didn't want to come today because they were worried about saying their name and speaking before you guys and having their faces on camera. Why is our community scared? I see our children running through the street and they are the embodiment of freedom, yet they are constricted. Our
Thank you, Aya.
community is constricted, and we need your guys' support.
Thank you, Aya. Thank you very much. Next, we have Janine is the final speaker.
Hey everyone, again. So I came up to you as a Palestinian, a Dearborn resident, and I gave you all my concerns, and I felt like I was completely shut down. I was made up to be like I am a super young person. I was actually alive in the 2000s, alive and well. We are told that we should not worry about what you guys are doing. You guys will just take care of it. We're out here with very explicit demands. It's very clear, and we're here saying that we want you guys to be as transparent as possible. You guys are saying that you had like a meeting that was available to the public last week. Well, guess what? Like as a Palestinian who was concerned about divestment, just looking through the agenda, I had no idea that it was even going to be talked about. This was a conversation that I want to be involved in. This is a conversation that I would want to have input in. But I felt like I was completely like taken back by it. And for a council member here to stand up and say that, like, don't worry about it, go worry about your senators, go do what you have to do as your personal responsibility. Well, my personal responsibility as a Palestinian Dearborn resident is to go up to my council members and talk about divestment and do it in a way that feels dignifying to me, to my martyrs, to the people back in my homeland, to the majority of my family, even my father who lives in Palestine, to my Arab siblings. This is what I'm doing. This is my responsibility. And for us to have to bring community and to see them being very vulnerable here, and to have council members be on their phones or shake their heads or make faces, like, it's very disrespectful. And it's something that I really didn't expect. And when I had spoken about overly surveillance and over-policing, that was not addressed at all. It wasn't. So I'm just here to say again, I feel like I am more disappointed than I was when I came into these doors. And I really hope you guys make an effort to listen to community, listen to what we're trying to tell you, listen to what makes us feel like, not what, that a way that divestment feels justice to us. And it's not a symbolic measure. We do want tangible items. That's why we have those demands. That's why they are very explicit. So shukran, thank you. That is all.
All right. All right, is there any more cards? Okay, at this time, we will be closing the public comment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Hammoud. We are adjourned.